Hello, hello. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, this is going to be a bonus general message. I always start these out with something real that happened pertaining to my dog in this series of videos. Then we just see if that anecdote sets the tone for anything. And just to say, it was, oh my gosh, it's been such a very busy time frame in my world. And, my dog is kind of like a part of everything I do. And so, when I keep late hours, early morning hours, guess what? He does too. And he gets grumpy about that. And so he's just been kind of wiped out. Actually, I feel wiped out today. I thought I was going to be all energized as I finished some major project that I had to complete last night and this morning. And instead, I'm just like, wow, I'm drained. So I'm not sure if everyone is in that mindset right now, but let's go ahead and work with that concept. Um, I decided to shuffle out of one of our decks that has more to do with different topics of healing, and this is show self respect. And I like this a lot because this is not like, oh, have some self respect for yourself. This is more like, written on either side of our angel here is the words Invictus Soul, which is like the invincible sun. This is that you can do it. Having that power, that belief in oneself. So it's not even just like because this could sound kind of catty, kind of sassy, like, oh, come on, have some self-respect. That's not the tone of this card at all. It's um showing the dignity that we walk through this world with. And sometimes life gets really stressful and our character maybe hasn't felt like they were all that dignified. This card reminds our character that yes, they are, and that dignity, even if, let's put it this way, to me, we have this hint that either someone is being malicious or unfair toward our lead character, and the lead character is like, wow, I can't believe I'm getting, like, attacked for this, or called out for that, or whatever the negativity is. This character is like, I mean, I try so hard to carry myself with grace. And this card says, and you do. You keep carrying yourself with grace. It doesn't matter that your angels are with you, your guides are with you, whatever mm, I'm not religious personally. So when I use the term angels, it's like, however you may perceive that, right? This is just I'll say it's a divine message for our lead character that they have grace, they have dignity. It does not matter who is kind of like raining on their parade, or who is, just coming at them for some unpleasant message. Let's try to keep this real clear. Let's go with, I'm going to change my mind on what deck I'm going to use. Let's go ahead, go with my bluntest deck. All right. This is the one that I always say is the universe. So tell me, what is it that this character is like facing that causes them to need, nine of wands. So somebody is at the end of their rope. Somebody is feeling exhausted. Somebody is feeling like, God, every time I get through one hurdle, guess what? There's a new hurdle for me. This is somebody who's just tired of they already work hard. They already struggle for what they got. They create the things that they've done themselves, and they keep finding blockages. Maybe they keep trying to work things out with somebody who's just not having it. They're just not cooperative. And it's like, okay, I'm kind of tired of everything kind of always being stacked against me, or no matter how hard I work, someone still finds a way to say something rude. I mean, here's this, and not to be such a downer about this, but um, it doesn't matter how nice you are. It doesn't matter how giving you are. There will still be people that will just come for you and say nasty things to you and about you. That's just the way human beings can be sometimes, because there's a jealousy streak. There's just a mean streak sometimes too. Sometimes people don't know why they're bullies. They don't even identify their behavior as bullying, even if it is. And that can get in somebody's head and make them feel sad or make them feel upset. And this says, don't worry about it. Our lead character doesn't have to worry about it. No matter what they've been facing, they have dignity and grace. They just need to carry on with being exactly who they are, their gracious self, not let people who are going to say nasty things to them or about them or judge them. You can't prevent somebody from judging or having their own opinion of us anyway. So it really is irrelevant. All we need to do is stay true to our own humble, you know, segment of life, whatever we give our attention to, because this character is being reminded what you do with grace. So keep doing that. It doesn't matter if there's obstacles, setbacks. It doesn't even matter if this is kind of exhausting. Princess of Sacred Circles is here, and the Prince of Cups is here. These are cards that actually are heralding a new beginning, because it's actually a page and a knight. There is some support coming in for somebody who's probably felt a little bit like, this could be a single mama out there who's like, oh my gosh, I've single mama or daddy, it doesn't matter, right? But somebody who's got a lot already to take care of. You notice she's got one little bun in the oven and she's tending to this other little one. Now, we don't have to talk about children for this to apply. I look at children as a metaphor for anything that we are giving our time, attention, and nurturing. That could be our, career paths. That could be, anything that we are giving of ourselves to in life. Now, because this is a page, and a page is like this new start, and because we see very young children and one that hasn't even been birthed yet, this Princess of Sacred Circles, this is the Page of Pentacles in any other deck. This is that reminder for our lead character that everything has its starting point. And she's probably already started some kind of career, or she or he. I don't read for genders. So I'll just say our character has probably already been working really hard to cultivate one thing in their life. And they've got yet another thing that they're going to need to start working on. And it's like now could be a very critical time where they have a lot on their plate, and so negativity that's dumped on them unfairly is probably, it has the potential to like really kind of get in this person's head and bring them down and make them feel like, gosh, am I really not that good at anything? Why? And this whole storyline is reminding our lead character, no, darling, you're fantastic, and everything has its season. There will be seasons of difficulty, and then there will be seasons where it's just a ton of work and we don't really see the what we're producing, and then later on it becomes a harvest season, and then we get to reap the rewards. We have a lead character who's already got a lot on their plate. They probably have more than one business endeavor, or they have, just a life that's very complicated right now, a lot going on. But this says we're starting the beginning of another new cycle. So it's a particularly tough time for our character. They've got a lot that they have to maintain and new things that they have to invest in. And that can be particularly difficult if they don't have support around them, or if worse, they have naysayers. But enter our hero. The knights are action takers. This is another person who pops on in. I don't know if this is a person who notices that this character is working really hard, and they admire this character. This King of Cups is somebody who, how the universe has a way to balance things, right? For every negative thing, say you wind up having like a total, I'll use something super simple and benign. Say you wind up having like a terrible experience on a vacation. The place that you're staying at is like, you got the worst room in the place, or they overbooked and you don't have a room at all, and now you're staying not at the fancy place that you'd booked and looked forward to for 3 months, but instead you're staying at some other location. And at first you're pretty bummed out about it, until you realize that other location that you ended up having to stay at, because you got punted right out of the place that you were supposed to be able to stay at, turns out you're next door to like the greatest restaurant ever. And you wind up meeting those people because you go to eat at that restaurant, and pretty soon you become friends with that family that owns it. And now you weren't just a vacationer, you've made like lifelong friends in some other culture, and that was worth the payoff. And you never would have been able to have that if you'd been able to stay in that fancy place that you'd booked and look forward to staying at for 7 months. Sometimes what is taken away from us is only to be replaced with something that's going to be of far greater value. That's this person coming in. So the negativity, the lack of support, the criticism, whatever our lead character is enduring, is going to be like, who the heck cares? That part doesn't matter. We got a hottie on a horse coming in. This fella, woman, man, doesn't matter again, but they come in with very pure intentions. This is, yes, they are a hero. They're riding a white horse. They're in silver armor, and all of their, trappings and such are gold, right? This is a terrific person. And they kind of come in on a really rough day, a really rocky day. Now, does this mean that this is all about a love story? Like somebody is, we have some woman who's having a really bad day and being picked on by other people, and she has a really busy life. And then here comes this guy who like sweeps her off her feet. No, that is not the story I'm telling. Could it be? Well, possibly. But to me, I like stories that are a little more complicated than that, to be honest. Here's the way I would see this. This particular person could come in a lot of different forms. This could be the individual that we wind up chit-chatting with at the bus stop on our way home from a really crummy work day, and that individual says something to us that's just the amazing, like, some message of hope, some message of, because this can be somebody coming in with a our knights are action takers, and they oftentimes can bring in um, offers. This could be somebody who tells us about a new band that we should listen to, and it turns out that music is like, oh my god, this is now my pump up music. For some reason, this is the music that's going to keep me going. It's going to put a smile on my face. This could be the person who gives us a compliment that's a stranger standing in the grocery store. It doesn't mean that this character has to be a love interest. So there is, what I would say is that this story could be, it could be all about love and romance, and this could be an amazing romantic partner who sees this individual who's having a pretty crummy run of it, and this masculine could be, sometimes on our worst day, it's when somebody else sees our beauty and we don't even know it, or sees our handsomeness and we don't even know it. Ooh, we got the devil, we got the 10 of cups. Look at that. Talk about an incredibly, how do I want to say it, contrasting day. So on our worst day, where we might be sitting down crying, maybe we've had an upsetting conversation with an ex or our boss or a colleague or someone who's just made us feel like, I just want to put my head down and cry. I don't see how we're going to get through this. And in that moment of difficulty, toxicity, even stress, we see the exact reverse. We see this incredible shining rainbow. We see our doorway to happiness is still available to us. We see it through the eyes of somebody completely different. It's not with this person. It's not with, if this is a story about romance, we have a character who has probably had a very difficult romantic situation, and they may or may not have just communicated with someone, and they had a really difficult communication with them, and on that very day they wind up meeting somebody else who says something so kind, and it's so vastly different from what their ex has just said to them, or what that relationship is. Or this could be somebody who's just saying, I understand now that I was in a really toxic connection, and it just sucks to have it sink in that, wow, I was with somebody who was really toxic. They've shown me again and again that they were toxic. I've become toxic myself, and man, I just don't want to do this. This is not the greatest feeling in the world, to recognize that something has, no wonder it's been unhappy, no wonder it's been difficult. But you know what? I will have my own self-respect, and I will trust that this too shall pass, and this hurt will get better. And the universe comes in with this rainbow and this hottie on a horse to remind us that, yes, this is like the reward for having the courage to not get so overwhelmed by a disappointing day or a painful experience or a unpleasant engagement that we have with someone. The universe is like, good for you. You remember that most important message, which is Invictus Soul. This is the invincible sun. The sun will always shine again because it's within us. It's, even on our toughest days, there's divine within us. This person is already working really hard. They already are picking themselves up, starting a new cycle. I don't think that they have much help, and I think that they're pretty fatigued, and I think it's been a pretty rough ride, and I think it's a day where just everything goes wrong, and that is the exact moment where we see something beautiful coming in. This is that gift from the universe. But like I said, the gift from the universe comes in many different ways. So that's why I didn't want it to be so narrow vision that it's like, oh, so if we have a bad day and then this hunk on a horse doesn't show up, then it's a disappointment for our character. Not at all. This kind of a character that we've been describing is somebody who is able to like really see the all of the little beautiful shimmering glorious moments that life gives us as well. And sometimes those little glimmering glorious moments, something as simple as a stranger who says, wow, you look fantastic. You have such a nice energy to you, or wow, anybody would spot you as you walk in the door, like you just glow. Sometimes that on a day where we just felt ugly, we felt, unseen, we felt unwanted, and that stranger who says that out of nowhere, that's those shining moments that the universe gives us to give us that little nudge that reminds us not everyone is going to be the right person on our path. Not every situation is going to be um, happy, even if we deserved it to be. We still sometimes maybe tangle with, well, look, it's the devil, right? The devil's not going to turn around and give us support. The devil's not going to turn around and give us a compliment. The devil's not going to say, job well done, or wow, you're really unique. I like the way you do this or do that. You do you, boo. The devil's not going to do that. The devil's going to make us feel inadequate, make us feel less than. And that's what's been going on for our character. And then the universe gives our character this. And however small or however large this wonderful gift is going to make a major impact for our character. And sometimes it's those little tokens of kindness that come out of seemingly nowhere that matter the most. Why? Because keep in mind, it's like, well, I'm in white and red, right? The white looks super white because I've got red next to it and have a dark background. But if I were all in white, you wouldn't notice the white. It just everything would be the same color. So it's kind of the same thing when we've got all of this kind of heavy energy and we have even one little moment of kindness. That kindness feels so much sweeter, so much better. But in truth, this is a 10 of cups. There is a promise up ahead for this character that they're going to get a gigantic 10 of cups. Tell me about the 10 of cups, universe. What do we got here? What do we got here? Let's let these cards do some time. The Sun, Sirius, and the Hierophant. Okay. So apparently, even though I was trying so hard to be more broad-minded with this story, guess what? This is kind of a love story, isn't it? And it's the best kind. It is. Somebody realizes. Here's what I'm going to say. We're going to change the storyline and just tighten it up just a little bit. Our lead character, who could be someone who has children and their life could be particularly difficult right now, masculine or feminine, they're having it sink in that they dealt with somebody that was just, it's like they're not going to get better. We're not going to get this back on track. We are not good together. There is something toxic about the two of us together. And they're not even trying to assign blame. They're just saying, I'm just tired of what was so toxic. And I just realize it is what it is. And that sucks. And because they take ownership of that, because remember that first card says, show self-respect. They go ahead and they say, I'm going to own this. I was part of this, right? I stayed attached also. I stayed attached to the drama. I stayed attached to the difficulties. Maybe I was hoping it would get better, but really that also became like a toxic hope and attachment. I stayed attached to the drama without meaning to. That certainly wasn't my intention, but now I realize, man, this has been, I can see it more clearly now. I can see where the devil is in this connection. It's in the bond that we have. It's in it brings up hurt feelings, anger. It brings out the worst in us. But instead of being devastated by it, they just own it and they go, this sucks. This has got to change. This can't be the thing that I stay stuck in. But that alone, that sense of honesty, that sense of awareness is something that the universe is like, hell yeah. All right, great. That means you're ready for something awesome now. Why? Because you've seen what you don't want to be attached to. So now, sweetheart, here comes our hunk, and they're coming in, and it will be like unbelievable. This is going to be the kind of relationship, if this is about love, and now we're telling a love story. This is the person we married. This is the person that it's so much happiness. We couldn't have even believed that it could be this happy. This is like someone has been like trapped in a storm cellar thinking that they couldn't leave, and instead they open up the storm cellar door and they come up to the surface, and it turns out it's a dazzlingly bright, beautiful day. There is no storm. They're at the ocean. It's gorgeous weather, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, why was I down in that storm cellar for so long thinking that's where I had to stay trapped, was in some, musty old, basement or something." This character has come back up into the light, basically. Why? Because they let themselves walk away from something that was toxic. That's what that was. They released themselves from captivity. I'm surprised we don't have the tower here. This new individual, this is the person that we marry. It could be a Taurus, could be a Leo, doesn't have to be. Could be a water sign, doesn't have to be. But what's interesting is that deep down, this character knew all along, the day that I really surrender and I let a toxic connection go that I admittedly have been holding on to, I already know that's the day that I'll probably wind up moving into a future that's going to be so much brighter. And I say this because this is our Oracle of Delphi. And, the Oracle of Delphi was a soothsayer, right? They would get messages supposedly from the god Apollo, and predictions about the future. But in this case, that is our lead character. They are, so I actually look at this Hierophant card as if it is the High Priestess combined with the Hierophant, just because Pythia, who is the Oracle of Delphi, is depicted on this card, and normally she would be the High Priestess. So I would say that our lead character has always known that the difficulties they've been facing, the troubles that they have known, the unfairness that they've dealt with, the things that they stayed attached to, they've known all along that it was time to let it go. And they've also known that when they were going to be able to let it go, life would do a complete turnaround. It's not really a shock to this character. It may be a shock how quickly everything turns out to be amazing, how quickly they meet somebody fabulous. It's like the very next person they meet is going to be the person that they marry. The very next person that they actually welcome into their life is going to be the polar opposite. So basically, in this story, what we're saying is our lead character had been blocking that amazing person from coming in. Why? Because they were chained to something that was unpleasant, unhealthy. This would be the same situation, like, when we stay in a job that we don't really like. But if we stay in a job that we don't like and we don't look for something else, basically we just keep on in that routine every day. We go to work, we earn the money, then we spend the money. Now we don't have the money or the safety security net to really even think about leaving that job. We just stay stuck in a rut. And then the day that we go, you know what, this sucks, I can't do this anymore, I can see that this is not making me happy. Let me go ahead and let me put in a job, a resume or something with another company. And it turns out, bam, we get that job. And here we are having this amazing quality of life now. We got better pay. We got a corner office with sunlight now. We're working with other people. And it's like, oh my God, this is everything I had been dreaming of. And secretly, I knew it was out there for me, but I had to first unchain myself so I could be the one who can accept this beautiful gift that's been right there all along. This is really exciting. We've had so many great storylines lately that have been so progressive. It's so funny because before this series, I did a series that it was all about growth. And I specifically did it like right around the what's the day of love called? um Valentine's Day. Because I was looking for topics of growth, and I did like singles, love readings, but not about romantic love, but like a message of love from the universe. I wanted to really focus on like growth and change and things like that. And it's so funny because that whole vibe just seems to be continuing through everything, which is really nice. So I don't know, this was a particularly uplifting one, I thought. Even though we certainly dealt with some heavy messages for that character, we also saw how everything is changing for them. So very cool. All right, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for just being incredible and bringing your kind energy into my world. If you do enjoy my fictional storytelling, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe. And I will see you guys again in the next one. All right, bye.